Well, what does it say? Asks Mandy. I don't see anything on the screen, replies Joel. Are you sure we did it correctly? Questions Mandy. She briskly walks over to the laptop and looks over Joel's shoulder. An awkward silence creeps over them as they stare at the screen. The sound of the Sediks' grandfather clock ticks away as they wait nervously for the genealogy test results. Mandy looks away and nervously shakes her hands. I don't know, Joel. I feel like we might have missed something. Joel hits the refresh button on the web browser, but nothing changes. Let's just give it a few more minutes, says Joel. Mandy continues to pace back and forth. Finally, something comes on the screen, and Joel's eyes widen. Honey, it's here, says Joel nervously. They look intensely at the screen as Mandy starts to shake her head. The results show their unborn child is 99% positive for the K gene variant, more commonly known as the killer gene. No, she utters softly. What are we going to do? Joel grabs her hand and calmly says, We'll figure it out together. He quickly shuts his laptop and walks over to his mobile phone. I'm going to call Derek, he says. You think he'll know what to do? She asks. I don't know, but it's worth a try, he replies. Joel has a brief conversation with his trusted acquaintance about the situation. He turns to Mandy and says, We have to leave. Mandy follows him as he quickly heads to the room. Where are we going? She asks. I don't know, but we can't stay here, he replies as he hastily gathers their suitcases. Joel, you're scaring me. He pauses and turns to his wife. They know we've run the test. Her brows furrow in confusion. But how? I thought you took all the precautions. He shakes his head. Apparently, I've missed one. They frantically gather as much of their belongings as possible and head out the door. But as soon as they step out the door, they are confronted by two individuals. Mr. and Mrs. Sediks? Mandy clutches her husband's hand. Joel moves before her and shouts, Who's asking? One of the strangers moves in closer and replies, Do you know a Derek Myers? They give no response. We hope you do, because he's why we're here. The strangers get closer. We are here to help, that's all, says the stranger. Joel inches forward. Help? What kind of help are we talking about? The other stranger walks over with a tablet and hands it to Joel. This is the kind of help. Joel and Mandy watch the tablet intently. Handing the tablet back to the strangers, Joel nods his head. They are quickly whisked away in a black vehicle as they silently contemplate their next move. Darkness wraps the night sky as they drive, and the sound of the car thumping on the road sends a rhythmic sensation during the ride. Mandy breaks her silence. Is it possible that the test could be wrong? The driver looks at the rearview mirror and says, Doubt it. The passenger turns around and says to Mandy, Even if there was a small chance that it wasn't accurate, that unborn child will have some form of that gene living in it, and this world finds that to be a threat. Mandy buries her head into her palms. This isn't fair. How do we know that this program works? The driver chuckles. Well, we're here and haven't killed anyone yet. Mandy's and Joel's eyes widen in fear. The passenger hits the driver on the shoulder and tells them, He's just kidding. Maurice here has a wicked sense of humor, right? The driver and passenger exchange a quick but awkward stare. Then Maurice, their driver, replies, Yes, I'm only kidding. They finally arrive at their destination. Upon stepping out, the air has a sense of muddiness and thickening. Mandy clutches her chest and tells Joel that there doesn't seem to be enough air getting into her. Joel comforts his wife and ushers her to lean against the vehicle. I feel it too, he says. The air is thick. Maurice walks over to them and leans in, saying, That's because we have a specific chemical agent that blocks outside air infiltration. Don't worry. The air improves once we enter the building. They are guided into a building and ushered into a large room. The Sediks stand quietly next to each other with a look of uncertainty. Suddenly, in walks a tall and slender woman with long black hair. Hello, my name is Sarah. I'll be your point of contact from here on out. She extends her hand forward for a handshake. So, what exactly is this place? Asks Mandy. Sarah gestures for them to follow her. Come, I'll show you. They follow her out of the grand room and down a narrow hallway. They turn a corner and enter another room. Upon entering the room, they immediately notice all the photos of people hanging from the wall, doctors, people in uniforms, and business professionals. Sarah finds a spot in the middle of the room and turns to the Sediks, and says to them, "This is what we do here. All these people are a direct result of the work we do here." She begins to point at the surrounding photos. They were all markers of the killer K gene, and look at them. They have all grown up and are living successful lives. Mandy and Joel's eyes widen in disbelief, muttering under his breath, "But how is that possible?" Sarah points at a large portrait at the far end of the room. "It's possible because of her." They walk towards the large portrait of this mysterious woman who appears to be shrouded in darkness but stoic in her pose. That is Mary Rockwell. She is the founder of Haven K. With her vast knowledge of human genetics and strong beliefs, she found a way to alter the killer K genes so that they would go undetected and stay tamed. "Tamed?" asks Mandy. "Apologies, poor word choice there. I meant to say that she found a way to make things manageable from a diseased standpoint." Mandy shakes her head. "I'm not sure I follow," she says. Sarah grabs Mandy's hand and draws her closer. "Your baby has a gene that tells us it will become a killer, and no matter what you think, that killer instinct will always be there. So when I say she found a way to manage that, I mean exactly that." Joel approaches them. "So what is it? Some sort of pill? A surgery?" Sarah replies, "It's a bit more complex than that. Please follow me." She leads them away from the room and walks down another long corridor. As they turn the corner, they see an elevator. They get inside and make their way to the lowest level in the building. "So, our answers are in the basement?" asks Mandy. Sarah scoffs at the comment and says to Mandy, "You'd be surprised." They stop, and the elevator doors slowly open to reveal another long corridor, but this one feels unwelcoming. Sarah gestures for Mandy to exit first. The sounds of Sarah's heels drudging behind Mary and Joel made the walk feel anxious. Mandy grabs Joel's hand, leans into him and whispers, "I don't like this." Sarah notices the gesture and calmly asks, "Is everything all right?" Joel turns his head to the side and replies, "Yes." The Sediks stop in their tracks. In front of them are double doors. Sarah moves in front of them and pushes the door open. "Please come inside. I promise all your answers should be here." Joel starts to move forward, but Mary hesitantly grabs Joel's arm. "Wait, I don't think we should go in there." Joel stops and tries to reassure his wife that everything will be okay. They slowly enter the double doors when they suddenly shut quickly behind them. Mandy runs back to try to exit, but the doors are locked. "No, unlock this door now," yells Mandy. "Please calm down, Mrs. Sedik," says Sarah. "No, I want to leave. Joel, let's go. This feels wrong." Joel walks over calmly to his wife and grabs her hand. "Please, Mandy, let's not make it more complicated than it needs to be." Mandy shoves Joel away from her and looks at him with confusion. "What? Joel, I want to leave. Now!" Suddenly, two masked individuals enter the room from a side wall and quickly approach Mandy. They grab her from the side and usher her further into the room. "No, get off of me," she shouts. Mandy screams and kicks as the individuals begin to drag her more forcibly. They get her onto an operating table and begin to tie her down. Sarah leans over Mandy and places a mask over her face. "Shh, everything will be fine." Mandy tries her best to wiggle and move her head away from Sarah, but is quickly engulfed by the mask. The hours tick away, and in a semi-lit room enters a few strangers dressed in surgeon clothing. "Hello, I'm Dr. Racker. Your wife's surgery was successful." He reaches out his hand and gives Joel a shake. "May I go see her?" Joel asks. "Yes, just give us a few minutes, and one of our nurses will come to get you," replied Dr. Racker. Joel, sitting back down and patiently waiting. A few minutes pass, and he is escorted to the recovery area. He walks in and is immediately taken aback. A bodiless Mandy is situated on the hospital bed next to a machine. "What is this?" Joel yells, and the surgeon says, "Please remain calm, Joel. We understand this isn't exactly the visual you were expecting." Joel covers his mouth in disbelief. "This isn't what I signed up for?" A few security guards come in and move towards him. Sarah enters the room, walks up to Joel, and places her hand on his shoulder. "Joel, you did sign up for this. You knew exactly what would happen." He begins to sob hysterically. "Is she dead?" he asks. Sarah points to the far end of the room. "Joel, baby, it's me, Mandy." He wipes the tears from his face, and right before his eyes, a headless body is carrying what looks like a baby. "What is this? Mandy, where are you?" Joel rushes up to the headless body with the baby, and as he looks at the baby, he can see the infant move its mouth. It's me, Joel. I am intertwined with our baby. Joel steps back in shock and fear. He turns to the surgeon and Sarah. I don't understand. What in the living hell is this? Sarah smirks and replies, living hell is one way to put it. That baby is, in fact, your child and Mandy all in one. Joel scoffs at her comment. Bullshit, that's not possible. A nurse takes the baby and walks over to Joel. Maybe if you hold him, you might feel differently. Joel shoves the nurse away and bolts out of the room. The security gives chase and pins him to the floor. Sarah walks over to Joel and kneels. I was hoping we'd have a different reaction from you. Sarah nods at the guards as they pick him up and take him away. Slowly walking down another corridor, Sarah enters a dark room. She walks over to a desk and sits down. She begins to dial a number on her phone, and Derek Myers picks up on the other line. It's done, she says. Good, she'll be happy, he replies.
Please like and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to click on the bell icon to get new video updates.